The footage exists, 7 creatures, centuries of sailors dismissed as liars. For decades, scientists said it was impossible. Sea serpents don't exist, transparent skulls defy biology, sharks with circular saw jaws are fantasy. But deep-sea cameras started recording things that matched those old stories. Squid with hooks on their arms, fish with see-through heads, living fossils that never evolved. When marine biologists analyzed the footage, the anatomy was undeniable, the measurements were verified, and the species. Stay until number 1. Even the name Vampire Squid from Hell couldn't prepare scientists for what it actually does. For most of human history, the deep ocean was mythology. Sailors told stories of creatures that defied logic, fish with transparent skulls, sharks that looked prehistoric, squid longer than whales. Scientists dismissed it all, folklore, superstition, the hallucinations of men who spent too long at sea, but remotely operated vehicles changed everything. Starting in the early 2000s, ROV cameras began descending into depths humans could never survive. High definition. 4K resolution, recording everything, and they started capturing creatures that matched those old sailor descriptions perfectly. These weren't monsters, they were real animals, evolved for environments so extreme that their biology looks alien. This is the story of 7 deep-sea creatures that science once dismissed as impossible until the cameras descended and the legends surfaced as fact. March 9, 2025. The Schmidt Ocean Institute's research vessel Falker was exploring waters near the South Sandwich Islands in the South Atlantic. 600 meters below the surface, their remotely operated vehicle Sue Bastian's camera feed showed something drifting through the water. Transparent, about 30 centimeters long, nearly 1 foot, and then the camera zoomed in, arms equipped with rotating hooks. The distinguishing feature that separates this species from every other squid on Earth. Messenichtuthis hamiltoni, the colossal squid. For 100 years, scientists knew this animal existed. Dead specimens washed ashore, fishermen found them tangled in nets, whales vomited them up, but no one had ever filmed a living colossal squid in its natural environment, not once. Until that moment. Dr. Kat Bolstead from Auckland University of Technology verified the footage immediately. She's one of the world's leading experts on deep-sea squid, and she confirmed what the team already knew. They were watching history. This was a juvenile. Adults grow to 7 meters in length, 23 feet. They can weigh 500 kilograms, 1,100 pounds, the heaviest invertebrate on the planet. For centuries, sailors described massive squid with hooks on their arms capable of dragging ships beneath the waves. Scientists called it the Kraken myth, maritime folklore. Impossible exaggeration, but the footage exists. The colossal squid is real, and it's every bit as terrifying as the legends claimed. The Kraken wasn't a monster, it was a species we simply hadn't filmed yet. Before the colossal squid made headlines, there was the giant squid, Architeuthis dux. For centuries, these creatures were considered pure myth. Then dead specimens started washing ashore in the 1800s, massive carcasses, tentacles over 40 feet long. Scientists realized the sailors weren't lying, but seeing one alive, that took until 2004, when Japanese researchers captured the first live footage off the Ogasawara Islands. The breakthrough came when they used bait suspended at depth and waited. Then in 2019, NOAA researchers were exploring the Gulf of Mexico when their ROV camera captured something attacking their bait at 759 meters depth. A giant squid, 7 meters long, 24 feet, tentacles lined with hundreds of suction cups the size of dinner plates. The creature moved with shocking speed and aggression, wrapping its arms around the bait and trying to drag it into the darkness. The footage was sent to Dr. Michael Vecchiani, a NOAA zoologist and the world's leading expert on cephalopods. He confirmed it immediately. This was Architeuthis dux. The footage shows the squid's massive eyes, the largest eyes in the animal kingdom, each the size of a dinner plate. Those eyes evolved to see in near total darkness, detecting the silhouettes of prey against faint bioluminescence. Giant squid can grow even larger. Some estimates put the maximum size at 13 meters. 43 feet. Sailors who described ship-sized tentacles rising from the abyss weren't hallucinating. They were witnessing apex predators perfectly adapted to hunt in the deep ocean. For centuries, science called them sea monsters. Now we call them Architeuthis dux. But the biology is just as monstrous as the myth. In 1939, U.S. marine biologist Wilbert McLeod Chapman discovered a fish so bizarre that for 65 years, scientists couldn't understand how it functioned. Macropinna microstoma, the Barreleye fish. When dead specimens were brought to the surface, their heads looked mangled, collapsed. The eyes seemed to be inside the skull, pointing upward, and the entire anatomy made no sense. How did this fish see? How did it hunt? How did it survive with its eyes trapped inside its head? For decades, no one knew. Then in 2004, researchers at the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute sent an ROV down to 600 meters depth off the coast of California, and the camera feed showed something impossible. The fish's head was completely transparent, a fluid-filled dome like a fighter jet canopy. Inside, 2 bright green tubular eyes pointed straight up, scanning the water above for prey silhouettes backlit against faint surface light, and the eyes could rotate. When the fish tilted forward to feed, the eyes swiveled to look ahead. The transparent dome protected the delicate eyes while allowing a 360-degree field of vision. In 2009, MBARI published the findings and the world was stunned. This wasn't a deformed fish. This was an evolutionary masterpiece. In the low-light twilight zone between 600 and 800 meters depth, where almost no sunlight penetrates, the barreleye's transparent skull and rotating eyes give it a hunting advantage no other fish possesses. It drifts motionless, eyes scanning upward, waiting for the shadow of prey to pass overhead. Then it strikes. For decades, scientists looked at dead barreleye specimens and saw a mutant, a freak of nature, an anatomical impossibility, but the ROV footage revealed the truth. This fish looks alien because it evolved for an alien world, and it's perfect. In the late 1800s, Japanese fishermen near Yokohama started pulling up sharks that looked like nightmares. Pink skin, elongated blade-like snout, and a jaw that could shoot forward like something from a horror movie. The species was formally described in 1898 and named Mitsukurina ostoni, the Goblin Shark. It's called a living fossil because it's the only surviving member of the family Mitsukurinidae, a lineage 125 million years old. This shark swam alongside dinosaurs and it never changed. For most of the 20th century, goblin sharks were considered extremely rare. Fewer than 50 specimens had been documented. Then deep-sea ROV expeditions started encountering them alive, and the footage is unsettling. The shark drifts through the water, slow and deliberate, its pink skin almost glowing in the ROV lights. Then without warning, its jaw shoots forward, extending almost to the tip of its snout and snaps shut on prey. The strike happens in milliseconds. It's one of the fastest jaw mechanisms in the animal kingdom. The elongated snout is packed with electroreceptors called ampullae of Lorenzini, allowing the shark to detect the electrical fields generated by hidden prey. It hunts in pitch-black water at depths exceeding 1,000 meters, using electricity to sense prey it can't see. When sailors centuries ago described dragons from the deep with extendable jaws and ghost-like appearance, scientists dismissed it as mythology. But goblin sharks are real. They're one of the oldest shark lineages still alive, and their hunting strategy looks exactly like the monsters from old maritime legends. This isn't a monster. It's a 125-million-year-old predator that never needed to evolve because it was already perfect. For thousands of years, sailors reported encounters with sea serpents, massive elongated creatures with silver scales, red fins, and serpentine movement through the water. Some reports described animals over 50 feet long, moving in undulating patterns near the surface. Scientists dismissed the reports as misidentified whales, eels, or pure fabrication. Then they discovered the oarfish, Regelcus glesni, the longest bony fish in the world. Oarfish can grow to 11 meters in length. Over 36 feet, they live at depths between 200 and 1,000 meters, feeding on plankton and small fish. Their bodies are ribbon-like silver with red fins running the length of their dorsal side, and they move in exactly the undulating serpentine pattern described in historical sea serpent accounts. For centuries, oarfish were known only from rare strandings, dead specimens washing ashore after storms. But in the 2000s, ROV cameras started capturing footage of living oarfish in their natural habitat. The footage is mesmerizing. The fish drifts vertically through the water, its body undulating in slow waves. When it moves horizontally, it looks exactly like a sea serpent. In 2024, researchers from Scripps Institution of Oceanography studied rare oarfish specimens in the lab, confirming what ROV footage suggested. These fish are incredibly fragile. Their bodies are built for deep-water pressure and low-light environments. When brought to the surface, they die almost immediately. That's why sightings are so rare. Healthy oarfish stay deep. Only sick or dying individuals rise to the surface where sailors encounter them. Every historical sea serpent sighting near the surface was likely a dying oarfish. The creature sailors feared for millennia wasn't a monster. It was the world's longest fish, struggling to survive in an environment it wasn't built for. And now the cameras have proven it. November 15, 1976. A U.S. Navy research vessel off the coast of Hawaii was dragging a parachute sea anchor when something massive became entangled. The crew struggled to pull the anchor aboard, and when they finally succeeded, they found a shark unlike anything science had ever documented. 5 meters long, massive mouth lined with tiny teeth, bulbous head, unmistakable filter-feeding adaptations. It was a new species, and it was enormous. They named it Megachasma pelagios. The Megamouth Shark. How does a 15-foot shark remain unknown to science until 1976? Because it lives in the deep ocean and almost never comes near the surface. For decades after the initial discovery, Megamouth sharks remained one of the rarest animals on Earth. Fewer than 100 sightings were documented in 30 years. Then in 2017, researchers captured rare video footage of a living megamouth off the coast of Indonesia. The footage shows a slow-moving filter feeder, mouth agape, swimming through plankton-rich water. Its enormous mouth can expand to nearly 1 meter wide, allowing it to filter massive amounts of water while swimming. The megamouth is one of only 3 species of filter-feeding sharks, along with the whale shark and basking shark. But unlike those species which feed near the surface, the megamouth lives in the deep mesopelagic zone and only rises at night to follow plankton migrations. As of 2023, only 273 megamouth sharks have ever been documented. That's fewer sightings than many cryptids. This is a real animal verified by science with a preserved holotype specimen, and it's rarer than most creatures people consider myths. The ocean is so vast and so unexplored that a 15-foot shark remained unknown until the late 20th century. And megamouth sharks prove something critical. Just because science hasn't documented something doesn't mean it doesn't exist. The name sounds like folklore, Vampirotuthis infernalis, literally vampire squid from hell. When German marine biologist Carl Chun first described the species in 1903, he chose the name based on its appearance. Deep red skin, cloak-like webbing between its arms, eyes that glow red in certain light, it looked demonic. For decades, scientists believed the vampire squid was a blood-sucking predator lurking in the abyss. Then researchers at the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute started filming them in their natural habitat, and they discovered the truth. The vampire squid doesn't hunt, it doesn't kill, it feeds on marine snow. Marine snow is the constant rain of dead plankton, fecal matter, and organic debris that drifts down from the surface ocean into the deep sea. The vampire squid drifts through the oxygen minimum zone between 600 and 900 meters depth, where oxygen levels are so low that most predators cannot survive. It extends two thin sticky filaments and collects drifting particles. Then it pulls the filaments through its arms, scraping off the collected debris and eats it. It's a scavenger, completely harmless. The vampire squid's red coloration isn't for hunting, it's camouflage. In the deep ocean, red light doesn't penetrate. Red animals appear black, making them invisible to predators. The cloak-like webbing isn't for capturing prey, it's a defensive display. When threatened, the vampire squid inverts its arms over its body, creating a spiky ball covered in bioluminescent photophores that flash in confusing patterns. It's trying to scare predators, not attack them. For over a century, the vampire squid was considered one of the ocean's most fearsome predators. Science gave it a name that translates to vampire from hell, but ROV footage revealed the truth. This creature is a gentle scavenger, living in one of the harshest environments on Earth, eating the ocean's garbage. The monster was a myth. The real animal is far stranger and far more fascinating than the legend ever was. 7 creatures, 7 myths. 7 truths revealed by cameras that descended into the deep and recorded what science once dismissed as impossible. The colossal squid proved the Kraken was real. The giant squid confirmed sailors weren't lying. The Barreleye fish showed that alien biology exists on Earth. The Goblin Shark demonstrated that living fossils still hunt in the abyss. The Oarfish explained every sea serpent sighting in history. The Megamouth Shark proved a 15-foot predator can hide from science for millennia. And the Vampire Squid revealed that the most terrifying names describe the gentlest creatures. But here's the deeper truth. We've explored less than 5% of the ocean floor. Less than 20% of the ocean volume has been mapped with any detail. The deep sea remains the largest unexplored habitat on Earth. Every year, scientists discover new species, new behaviors, new biology that shouldn't be possible. In 2023, researchers discovered a fish living at 8,300 meters depth, deeper than any fish had ever been recorded. In 2024, they found an entire ecosystem thriving inside underwater mountains we didn't know existed. The ocean is still revealing its secrets. And every time an ROV descends with a camera, there's a chance it will film something that rewrites the textbooks. Those old sailors weren't making up stories. They were observing real animals in environments science hadn't yet explored. The monsters were always real. We just needed better cameras to prove it. So the question isn't what else is down there. The question is, what will the next descent reveal? Because if the past 20 years have taught us anything, it's that the deep ocean has more monsters waiting. And some of them will make the vampire squid look normal.